Oh my god.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. It's Lunation.
Lunathion.
All right.
No, this is so perfect. I love this. I love this. Oh, that was amazing.
I'm Kat.
And I'm Cass.
And you're listening to
Two Book Bitches. What's up?
Welcome back, everyone.
Back to the podcast.
Yes, and today we are back with the House of Sky and Breath.
Took a little break to do Iron Flame. Now back.
Yes, but I think the last time we were talking about the
Oh my god,
Maasiverse.
Okay, yeah. Let's cover this.
I made a comment that I was convinced that because we were talking about mating ceremonies.
Yes.
And
how SJM won't write one because she says it's corny.
But we went down this road because we were wondering if Hunt and Bryce need to have a mating ceremony for him to be considered a prince. Right. But Sarah J. Maas never really writes them because she thinks they're corny. Mm-hmm. But I was convinced that in Silver Flames they were they didn't have them I was convinced that there wasn't a scene in it, but that they basically said that it already happened.
Yeah, she thought that Nesta and Cassian's mating ceremony had happened off page.
Yes.
So she was like, it had. And I was like, no, it hasn't, because in the last chapter of the book, I thought it was the three sisters, Nyx, and they're bringing Nyx to see the grave of the grandfather.
Which is true, but in that chapter, because we checked. Which I read the last chapter just now. They talk about them planning the ceremony, which is going to happen in 3 days or something.
So they're in the planning stages, and Rhys is but
throwing... the way I was reading it, I guess it reads very much like it's kind of already happened, even though it didn't. Mm-hmm. So then I guess in my memory, it just seemed like it already happened, but it didn't.
So it hasn't happened, and I think Rhys is throwing money at Nesta. He's like, "What do you want? I'll buy you literally whatever you want."
Yeah. So, but I'm sure we'll never probably see the actual ceremony. Even in the next book, it's probably already happened.
Okay, wait. Did you hear that she apparently has this massive book, a binder, and one of her publishers has it or something, and it's basically the Maasiverse Bible. And it's all the stuff that cannot happen, all the stuff about the characters, their plot lines, everything is in this Maasiverse Bible.
I've never heard this before.
Yeah, so apparently it's a thing. She's said it in interviews. So it's this big book, big binder that she has, and it has all the information regarding her characters' plots, their plot arcs, all the information about her worlds, everything in this one spot. And I think that she should publish it one day.
If she
I think it'd be so cool.
Finishes any of her universes.
I know, that's true. That's true.
All of these worlds could just keep going if she really wanted.
I would pay money to see that. For sure. But needless to say, spoilers ahead, I think, right? Because we don't have anything else to talk about, do we?
No, I just needed to make an amendment because, as per usual, Cass is right. I don't even know why I challenged her.
Sometimes Kat is right. It was not one of those days.
No, not that time. I don't know why it was so... I had it in my mind that I just...
Maybe you just wanted it so bad that you had pictured it.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I was did she read a fic? Because there's lots of fanfic about people writing the mating ceremonies.
Right, but I don't read fanfic.
Exactly, so that's why I was like, does she read fanfic or something?
No, I don't know. I guess I had just put that in my memory. I rewrote things in my brain.
She rewrote the end of the book in her brain.
But enough of that. Enough of me being wrong, okay? Today we're doing chapters 57 to 64 of House of Sky and Breath.
Yeah, and spoilers ahead. So if you haven't read... turn back now.
Or don't.
Because we're not your moms and we can't tell you what to do. So where do we leave off?
I mean, we kind of left off. There wasn't much happening, but Therion shows up at Rune's house asking if they have space for one more roommate in their Mojo Dojo Kaza house.
Exactly.
So cute. But now we're back at Bryce's apartment.
As always.
And Hunt asks if he's basically a prince now. And Bryce is like, well, welcome to the club. But Hunt asks if she's truly okay with this. And this is when she breaks down crying, saying that she spent her whole life avoiding this. And she can't believe that she let herself fall into her dad's trap. And now she'll never be free of him. Mm-hmm. But Hunt promises that they will do whatever they can to fight him on this. But Bryce is scared because at this point, her father basically owns her. And even if he wants her to marry Cormac, he could sign the marriage certificate without her even present, which is like so gross. Can you imagine that?
That's really icky.
Like you don't even have to be there. Like someone can sign for you.
It's giving like sold. Like
yeah, no, literally. Like
that's all it is.
Yeah. And even if she would want like a divorce at some point, she would need her father's permission for that.
Ew.
So yeah, she's not happy about the situation. No. And basically only the Asteri can override him, but she doubts that the Asteri would help them because like they don't have a great relationship with the Asteri. You know
yeah, and I feel like this is not something she's gonna like go out of her way to ask the Asteri.
She's not gonna like hit up the Asteri, be like, hey, can you help me with this? I need a favor.
I need a little favor to ask. I know that I embarrassed you guys.
Like, could you just help a sister out?
I'm like really not liking the man that my dad picked for me. You see what I'm saying? No, there's no way.
She then has like a eureka moment.
I love those.
And she comes up with like a plan that she thinks can get them out of this like little situation.
She's like, I've got a little
something.
something.
I think this could work.
Mm-hmm.
Now we switch to Rune, who is on that mental bridge again, talking to Daybright, who apologizes for the last time they spoke when she basically insinuated that he is a worthless piece of shit who doesn't know anything about pain or sacrifice.
This is it's not funny.
That was when Rune was having like he was in his feels
when he was like, I'm a nobody.
And he was like catastrophizing and like reading into everything.
You know what? I do love catastrophizing. So
catastrophizing.
Right? That's a word. Okay, great.
Catastrophizing.
Catastrophe. This is a catastrophe. I'm catastrophizing. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I think so.
Stunning.
Rune then asks her what she thinks makes a good leader, and she thinks it's someone who listens, thinks before acting, who tries to see like different perspectives, who always tries to do the right thing.
Cute.
And I guess like Rune is really in his feels right now. Like he's having an identity crisis.
He's in his like Saturn Return year.
And
like he's really going through
like,
it.
Well, am I a good leader? Like even if I take over for my dad, like would I be a good leader? Like he's having a moment.
Yeah.
And this whole rebel thing is making him consider like who would they even replace the Asteri with if they were to win that war? Like would they want to replace the Asteri? Like who would rule
in place of the Asteri?
Like Lithuania, whatever.
Lithuania. I'm sorry, that was so good. That was so
I don't know where that came out.
No, that was so perfect. I love that. So I'm only going to read it as Lithuania now. I hope you know that.
You know what? It's one of the... I never say it right anyways.
But usually you say lunation, so this is so good. Oh my god.
That just like rolled off the tongue.
You were so confident. Oh my god, that was so good. Oh my god.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. It's lunation.
Lunathion. Oh, no, this is so perfect. I love this. Oh, that was amazing. I'm only reading it as Lithuania now. Oh my, sorry, Sarah J. Maas. Oh,
Lunathion.
Oh my, that was so good, Kat.
Oh my god. I don't know where that came from.
That felt really good to laugh that hard though, so thank you.
No problem. So yeah. Lunathion. I'm never gonna say it right now.
Oh, that was amazing.
I just made it worse for myself.
No, that was so good.
So anyways, Day admits that she's not used to having like a real friend like Rune, who at this point she considers to be like her only friend.
She's like, you're the only one who gets me. Even though she's literally so mean to him.
I know, she's so mean. She's like, you don't know anything about anything, but like
you're a nobody.
You might be my best friend.
Well, I guess if you can't be mean to your best friends,
that's true.
You know?
I mean, you gotta call your friends on your
exactly.
They agree to meet up in person and pick the autumnal equinox.
Yes.
Since they will both be at the masked ball for like the archangels.
Mm-hmm.
And they decide to meet at midnight in front of the fountain outside the conservatory where the party is happening.
Right.
And Rune thinks that like if he thinks it's her, like he'll say day, and she'll answer night. and
That's actually crazy.
that's how they'll know who they are.
Because, like, what if he goes up to a girl? Because, like, low-key, if someone came up to me and said day, like, maybe I'd say the opposite. I'd be like, ooh, night. Like, what are we playing?
Wouldn't
like
you
a
be
word
like,
association
what?
game? Like, I would come up with a phrase, maybe. Like a secret phrase.
I mean, I guess, though, he's hoping that, like, who's going to be at this fountain? If the party's happening inside,
I guess.
maybe no one's going to be chilling outside where the fountain is in the gardens.
I love to chill outside at parties, so.
I don't know. But again, like, he's going to say day.
Exactly.
And she's going to say night, and then they'll know.
Oh, I love it. 2 weeks go by, so we do a little bit of a time jump, and Bryce and Hunt are ready to go off to this masquerade ball. And Bryce is pissed because she has a list of, like, rules to follow courtesy of her father. Like, I literally think he, like, picked out her outfit, picked out, like, everything, like, top to bottom, like, what she's wearing, what she's going to do, whatever. But obviously she looks really hot.
I guess her father at least has style.
I suppose. I think she's. I love the way
he has Riz.
Apparently, she's wearing this, like, beautiful black dress with, like, a plunging neckline, and it's, like, gorgeous. Apparently. So while Bryce is thinking about this, Hunt is just thinking about how much him and Bryce have been fucking.
Love that for them.
Priorities, you know? Obviously they both look hot, and Bryce wishes they could stay back and have sex, but alas, they go to the masquerade ball. And you know the old theory.
Our old theory that nothing good ever happens at a masquerade ball.
And, like, I mean, it doesn't go completely to shit.
No, I mean, like, it's still not.
It's not the
perfect night.
Yeah.
This shit happens. But it's definitely not the worst masquerade ball ever.
Exactly.
Like, I've read. Sorry.
Exactly.
I've read worse things happen at masquerade balls.
Exactly.
But this one, you know, I am always suspicious whenever I hear a masquerade ball.
Same, because I'm like, there's people hiding behind masks. Like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
I need to know. So now we're with Rune, and he's bowing to the archangels with Hypaxia. And he feels like a big fat faker because, like, he's Hypaxia's date. Meanwhile, he can't, like, stop thinking about day. Like, he's, like, so stuck on this. He's, like, counting down the minutes till midnight. He can't wait. Ethan comes up and interrupts, and he's like, oh, the River Queen's daughter would like to meet Hypaxia because the River Queen's daughter is there with Therion, which I was like, oh my god, she's, like, up above the sea. Wish I could be part of your world.
I know, it's like the first time she's, like, let it out.
And she still doesn't have a fucking name.
True.
She literally still doesn't, like,
maybe it's the River Queen. She's just the River Queen.
They don't have names?
But they never, like, even, like, what's the Viper Queen's name? They call her the Vipe. Like, there's a lot of people here that they don't tell us
I don't
their
like
names.
that. I don't like that at all. Well,
I feel like, but don't you, like, you agree with, like, the theory that, like, a name is important, so if you don't know the name, there's a reason why we don't know the name.
Well, yeah, I prescribe to that theory. Like, I think the reason we don't know the name is because the name is really important, or we'll recognize it from somewhere or something like that.
It will be a spoiler if we actually find out the name.
Exactly.
Like, we don't know Reese's last name for a reason.
Exactly. So
come in later.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, so he can't stop thinking about day, and then Hypaxia leaves to go, like, talk to the River Queen's daughter. Bryce walks in with Cormac at her side, and Hunt is behind them, and they all go up to, like, greet the archangels, like the most dysfunctional little throuple that you've ever seen in your life. And Bryce and Cormac are like, oh my god, you know, congratulations on your union, to Celestina and Ephraim. And when Celestina extends her well wishes, just like and she does a very generic one, because mind you, Celestina knows about this, like, mating thing, right? So she's just like, we also wish you well. Like, she doesn't say, like, we wish you well on your union or anything like that.
I wish you well.
In hell. So yeah, Celestina extends their well wishes, and Bryce is like, thanks, Prince Hunt and I are so happy. And everyone is like, like,
what do you mean?
What do you mean? People are clutching their pearls. People are gasping. It's like, what is going on? What the absolute fuck? And Bryce is like, oh my god, yeah, like, we're mates. Did you forget to tell everyone, father? Because I think at this point, like, the Autumn King's, like, hightailing it to, like, the front of the room where they are, because he's like, oh fuck, shit's gonna go down. And because he doesn't want to make a scene, the Autumn King is like, oh, silly me, I must have forgotten to tell you. Like, yes, we're so excited to have Hunt in the family. Like, he's trying to play it off as if, like, he knew what Bryce's plan was. Celestina is like, oh my god, this is great. Like, blessed be your union. Like, praise be, like, under his eye. Like, you know, like, all of that stuff. They're being just, like, very, like, formal.
Yeah.
I would say about this
Super
entire
formal.
thing. Rune is like, oh my God, this is rich. This is crazy. And then he like goes up to Hunt and Bryce to congratulate them for this like brilliant idea. And then this is when Ephraim and Celestina stand welcoming everyone. And then the screen like comes down, and on the screen you see the 6 Asteri on their thrones and the one that's empty. Who got
Like-
eaten again? Sirius? Regulus?
No, Regulus is like the main guy.
Oh, Regulus. So I think it's Sirius that got eaten?
I don't know, but why do they keep the throne? For what reason? Like, get rid of it.
I think it's
Like, why do you want to remind everyone that like you can be killed?
I know, I guess too, because I thought it was always like symbolic as like, you know, they want to remember their fallen like brother or whatever the fuck. But then at the same time, like I see what you're saying, like, isn't that a sign of weakness? Like just keeping that reminder there that like the Asteri are not these like infallible like creatures, like they can die.
Yeah.
Interesting. I never really thought about it like that.
Like, I'd be like, get rid of the chair.
Get rid of it.
You have no
Fucking
one to
cut
fill it.
it. We're not going to talk about him
Yeah.
anymore. He was always the failure of the family anyway. We wanted him to die.
It was a setup.
It was a setup. What if it was a setup?
Maybe.
What if he was like sympathetic to like...
But it was a prince of hell who killed him. It's pretty sure it was the prince of the pit.
Yeah, it was a prince of the pit. It was Napoleon
Napoleon.
that like ate him.
Yep.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Anyways.
But from the screen, Regulus congratulates Celestina and Ephraim on their mating ceremony or whatever. And another Asteri who's called Octartus. Do we
Yeah.
even find out all their names? Do they list them somewhere? Because I forget.
I mean, they're all named after stars.
Okay, but that doesn't,
Maybe we could look like...
that doesn't help me remember what their names are.
Hold on. I'm going
Do
to...
you know how many stars there are in the sky?
Top 10 brightest stars.
Why don't you just look up the like Asteri?
Oh.
Why-
Yeah,
like,
I suppose
that's
you're right.
it's not helpful.
I just thought that maybe she would have named them after the brightest stars in the sky. So that's why I looked at that. Asteri names Crescent City. Oh, okay, here. We got him. We've got Austris, Eosphoros, Hesperus, Octartus, Polaris, Regulus, and Sirius is the one who died.
Okay, so you were right.
Okay.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever come across those names in this book ever. So
No, except for the couple now that we're doing.
maybe it's mentioned in the first one, but
Who knows?
I have few memories of the first one.
Me too.
So anyways, this Octartus guy, actually I think it's a woman,
I think so.
is like, congratulations are in order, or other congratulations are in order, because like there she's referring to Hunt and Bryce.
Ooh.
And Regulus calls on Bryce and Hunt. And the Autumn King comes up beside them and is like, I present my daughter to you and her mate and consort, Prince Hunt Athalar.
Oh my god,
Which is
crazy.
like, ooh, fancy.
Fancy.
And then they all bow to the Asteri.
right.
Regulus just says, oh, so many happy unions tonight. And then tells them to go and celebrate in peace before the screen goes dark.
He's like, peace be with you.
He's like, yeah, no, literally,
like,
basically.
peace be with you.
So,
And with your spirit.
yeah.
Literally.
So screen goes dark, the party resumes, and the Autumn King turns to Bryce and is like, you little bitch.
yeah, he little bitches her.
Yeah, and she's like, it's you little bitch, your highness, actually.
You know what
before
it's,
walking away.
you know what it's giving? It's giving Harry when Harry Potter's like, you don't have to call me sir, professor.
A little bit, yeah.
You know?
Who did he say that to?
Snape.
All right. Because Snape, like, stumbles, doesn't he?
Yeah, he like corrects him and he's like, sir. And then Harry's like, you don't have to call me sir, professor. It's a good line. Anyways, go ahead.
Hunt, so she walks away from her father and Hunt follows her and she asks him to dance with her. Hunt asks her if she's all right and she's like, yes, your highness. Which he replies with, I thought you only called me that in bed.
Oh,
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I do love that.
Love the banter.
Cute.
So anyways, everyone is staring at them while they dance. But Bryce just can't help but be happy in this moment because, like, you know, they finally have a win under their belts.
Mm-hmm.
And she's glowing like a Care Bear.
Mm-hmm.
And Hun pulls out the swoon-worthy line, like he says to her, everything that ever happened to me, it was all so I could meet you, be here with you, I'm yours forever. So
I
sweet.
love Hun Athalar. I am Hunt Athlar's #1 fan. If there are a million fans, I am one of them. If there are 1,000 fans, I'm one of them. If there's one fan, it's me. If there are no fans, I'm dead. Like, I love this man.
It's a good man, Savannah.
He's a good man, Savannah. He's a good man. I think I like Hunt so much because he's in the same vein as Cassian, and I really like Cassian. So
yeah,
you know,
it's true.
It's kind of like Cassian, different font a little bit. Yeah, love them.
So Rune is also dancing on the dance floor, but he's dancing with Hypaxia, who is looking for her sister, the Hind, and Rune points Lydia out to Hypaxia, and Hypaxia says that she was waiting until tonight to approach Lydia. Rune offers to go with her, so they walk over to Lydia, who is standing beside Pollux. Hypaxia tries to strike a conversation with Lydia, but Lydia doesn't seem too interested. Rune looks at the time, and it's almost like midnight. So he's like, I need to like skedaddle. He's trying to like find an exit out of this conversation.
He's like, holy shit, I need to go meet Day.
But Hypaxia asks Pollux to leave, and the Hind tells like him to listen to Hypaxia. So Rune takes this as his opportunity to leave, saying that he'll give his two sisters a moment alone. He makes his way outside to the fountain and waits, and out walks the Harpy, saying, looking for someone?
Ugh. And Rune is like, oh my fuck, the Harpy? Like, really? This is who it is? So he goes up to her and he's like, well, you know, I guess I'm gonna try it. So he's like, Day? And she's like, what the fuck are you saying, you weirdo?
And then he's probably immediately relieved that it's not her.
No, seriously. And then all Rune is thinking about how he's like an idiot and clearly Day hadn't come. And as he's standing there, he sees the Hind like watching him from like, I guess like inside or like the stairs or whatever. And he's like, shit, like, does she suspect something? Like, I can't lead her to Agent Daybright. Like, this is wrong. This is bad, whatever. So he leaves the party entirely. Like, he's so fucking down bad that he's like, I'm just gonna go home. Like, it's not even worth it for me anymore. So he leaves. Down this secluded hallway, we're with Bryce and Hunt, who are trying to hook up, and they're trying to, like, find a private room. They're like, oh my god, like, we gotta go, like, whatever. They do find a door, but it's locked. So Hunt is like, you know what, no worries, like, I got this, and he breaks open the lock. And then the door swings open, and they see Celestina, boobs out, getting licked up by Hypaxia.
This was truly something I did not see coming. It's really caught me off guard.
Well, so I remember even saying it to you. Like, I remember the first time I read this, I was like, oh, Celestina definitely doesn't like boys.
That's not what shocked me, because like I felt like that was like a possibility,
but I didn't know it was Hypaxia.
I just didn't know it would be like, I just didn't think that this was the relationship that Hypaxia would be in. This is like that person that she was like she referred to, that she had a relationship with, who like didn't want it to go any further. She's referring to Celestina,
and this is like a wildly high profile affair, mind you.
Yes, because
this is like the queen of the
people.
witches, and this is the archangel of Crescent City. Like, this is two massive. And Celestina's already been punished in a sense by being promised to Ephraim. So there's a lot riding on this.
But I mean, like, you know, this is a very poor choice to do this at this very moment.
No, 1,000%.
Like, it's basically like your engagement party and you're hiding in a closet with your lover.
No, literally, you know? I think I made that comment like further down because like Hypaxia or like Celestina at one point like makes this comment and she's like, oh, like Hypaxia will be killed by Ephraim or the Asteria if we're found out, blah blah. And I'm like, well, then maybe don't fucking hook up at the engagement party.
Yeah, it seems like very poor
like
timing.
Okay, fine, the door was locked, there's fucking veneer walking around, like,
but also anyone could just break that door down. Like,
that's what I'm saying, like, there's veneer walking around. It's not like there's just like two people at this party. It's not like a fucking lunch and learn. Like, there's a shit ton of people. If they found a locked door and they were curious enough and there's like drunk people, they would have broken down the door like Hunt did. This is so risky.
I agree.
So risky. But yeah, so as they walk in, Hunt is like, what the absolute fuck is going on? Oh my god, oops, so sorry. Celestina's starting to like glow with power because she's getting like all riled up, and then Hunt is starting to like crackle with electricity, like it's all going to shit. And Bryce like immediately jumps in and is like, we're not gonna say anything, don't worry. And Hunt is like, yeah, my lips are sealed. And this is when Celestina is like, you know, Hypaxia is going to be killed by Ephraim or Asteria if we're found out. And Bryce is like, listen, woman to woman, okay, as women who have had to make do with some like shitty choices, like, I'm your ally and I will keep your secret. She's like, I'm not just your ally like politically, she's like, I'm your ally on like a personal woman to woman level. Like, I would never rat you guys out for this. So they all finally calm down, and Hunt is like, we all better get going before someone walks in and thinks I'm having like the night of my life, because he's just like standing there with like these 3 gorgeous women. So he's like, we better skedaddle. And as they're leaving, Hunt and Celestina are kind of like alone, like walking together, and she's like, love is a trap, Hunt, one I can't figure out how to free myself from. And he's like, do you even like want to free yourself from it? And she's like, every day.
I think that's kind of sad.
It's so sad.
Like, shouldn't it be worth it to you no matter like how little you get?
No, because I guess I think in her eyes, she's like, I would rather have never known the feeling of love than know what it is to be with someone I love and then be stuck with Ephraim.
I guess.
It's terribly tragic.
But then, you know, you have like Reese being like, if this is all the time we got, it would have been worth it.
I know, but
you know,
different strokes for different
love,
folks, you know? Like, I completely get where she's coming from, particularly because of, like, the magnitude of their situation, right? Like, her love life is completely out of her hands, technically. And, like, whereas, like, with Reese, for example, because you were just saying, like, with Reese and Feyre, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, if this is all the time that they had, that was because of their own doing. They might, you know, die or like whatever the fuck, but with this one it feels like a little bit outside of their hands.
Yeah,
so I can see why she's very like, she's a little more jaded about it. Like, the choice was taken away from her at the end of the day. We're with Therion now, and he's watching like the time because he has to get the, you know, River Princess Cinderella back home by 1 a.m. He's like, oh my god, like, gotta get her back, otherwise her mommy's gonna get like really
or else
mad.
she'll turn back into a fish.
Exactly. A pumpkin. Obviously he's like not having the best time, and like the River Queen's daughter picks up on it, so he tells her to go and dance with one of her guards, which like she seems to like enjoy. And I don't know if like we got this because like they're trying to show us that the River Queen's daughter is like in love with
the guard,
or if we're just meant to see her that like her enjoying herself.
Yeah, I wasn't sure really.
I wasn't sure, because then I was like, oh,
was.
Is he gonna use this like maybe this whole like she's in love with someone else angle to get out of it, or was it just kind of like, oh look, like she's being a young girl and she's having like a great time? Like, I wasn't really sure what the MO was here. So yeah, she goes and dances, she's enjoying herself, and he makes his way over to the bar, and he starts to flirt with like a leopard shifter, like basically being like,
he's deflecting,
he just needs to dull the pain with sex with a leopard shifter, apparently.
So yeah, which is like, she's right there. She's gonna see it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
what was the thought process there?
I don't know. He's just like thrown caution to the wind.
Truly.
Everyone's throwing caution to the wind at this masquerade. Yeah, everyone is
nothing really terrible happens, but almost.
It's like it's those situations where like everyone just came like within inches of having like shit blow in their face. Yeah. Exactly.
So now we're with Ethan and Hypaxia, who are in a small clearing in the hills beyond the city, where Hypaxia is like setting up for the ritual to try to contact Connor.
Mm-hmm.
She draws like a 6-pointed star on the ground, with a knife, which she says is the symbol of balance. Like, what does a 6-pointed star look like?
I was literally, you read my fucking mind. Like, I don't know.
I'm thinking
if like you're watching on YouTube as she was talking, I want you to watch my face, because I started to try and do the fucking mental.
Because I'm thinking like the regular star I'm thinking is 5 points. And then you could do the star that does that, but that's 4. So is it like that plus just like 1 tick?
And then we also get like the 8-point star that's constantly like talked about, right?
Yeah.
Wait. So 1, 2, 3.
It would just be that.
But then I guess you would have to like shift it all. I'm gonna Google.
I was like, what does a 6-pointed star look like?
Star. Oh, guys, it literally looks like the Star of David. I don't know why that took me. I could not fucking picture that.
Yeah, I don't know why.
That is not what I was picturing.
That was not. I don't know why I couldn't think. Is that bad that we couldn't even like mathematically figure that out in our head, how a star could be 6 points?
Why are we so fucking stupid? It's literally this, and this.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
why? Why am I dumb?
Because you draw it like that. Okay.
Oh, you know why?
That makes sense now.
I was doing a horizontal line.
Me too.
I should have been doing vertical, diagonal, diagonal. But I was doing vertical, horizontal, one diagonal. And then I was like, no, we're missing like a gap.
Oh, yeah. 1, 2. Wow.
That's why.
That was really stupid.
That was
2 big idiots. Remember from last episode?
2 big idiots. 2 big morons. That's our new podcast name.
Oh my god, that's embarrassing.
That is so
I'm
embarrassing
for us.
Now that like I'm literally seeing it, like the 6-pointed, like it, you know, commonly used to refer like as the Star of David. Like I'm seeing it, I'm like, we're actually fucking stupid. Like,
yeah, I don't know how we managed to not pick that up on that one. I don't know.
I told you I was adding the extra horizontal line.
Yeah, same was I. I don't know.
I don't know why I went plus sign diagonal.
I think we should stop because we're just making ourselves sound worse.
It's really bad,
Please
guys.
ignore
It's
us.
really bad.
I'm just glad it just wasn't me. Like, thanks for making me feel less stupid. Because
No,
we're
you're
both stupid together.
You're so welcome. Don't you worry.
Anyways, forget that side tangent. We switch to Rune, who is on that mental bridge with Day.
Right.
And he apologizes for endangering her. He tells her that if she got to the fountain and he wasn't there, it was because when he got there, the harpy and the hind were there too, so he had to skedaddle.
Mm-hmm.
But she admits that she was there too and saw the threat, but stayed away. So she now knows who he is.
I mean,
He's like, she was there and she saw that it's Rune.
are you at this point speculating who it is?
Yeah. At this point, I knew, I think.
Okay. I also think because when she said the line, like, I was watching and I saw the threat, I was like, oh, okay. We'll just continue on.
Yes. If you don't know already, you'll find out sooner.
If you know, you know. And if you don't.
Actually, you don't know until like until the end of the book, really.
Yeah, so hang tight.
But I mean, like, I feel like a lot of people kind of figured it out.
Yeah.
At this point.
So like the Celestina hypaxia thing I didn't figure out on my first read through. On my first read through, I did figure out who Agent Day was.
By the end of it,
I
was like, okay, this makes sense.
Okay.
So he asks her if they can meet now in person, but she tells him that she already left the city, but he doesn't believe her. She tells him that it's clearly too risky for them to meet in person. She mentions that Rune is engaged to Queen Hypaxia, and Rune thinks that he can like sense like some jealousy in her tone. And he clarifies that they are betrothed in name only, but they're not like in love with each other or really interested in each other in that way.
Like, we're not interested in being together like that.
He tells Day that he wanted to see her tonight, and he spent like all evening like looking at the time, waiting for it to be midnight. And she's like, why? And he responds with, so I could do this. And then he comes up and kisses her.
I love them so much.
It's like an interesting like relationship because they've never really seen each other, right? He like up until now, she knows now that he is Rune.
Do you want to know what this is? This is Love is Blind.
No, literally, it is.
This is Love is Blind
because they're talking behind like this, not really wall,
but they've got like
they have some kind
glamours
of
on.
Yeah, so she's like all fire and he's all like darkness.
This is like Love is Blind.
It is Love is Blind. They fell in love sight unseen.
And then when they get married, when they have their wedding ceremony, it'll be like, is love truly blind? And they like do the
yes,
yeah.
And
this is Love is Blind.
They'll say I do.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. She breaks the kiss to tell him that he reminds her that she's alive and that there is still goodness in the world. But then they are interrupted by a presence on her side of the bridge, who is clearly the male who dragged her from sleep before to have sex. And then she vanishes.
They really are one of my favorite couples because there's this underlying tone of like forbidden love, which I love.
Yeah, I did really like them, but like I really wanted them to know. Like obviously now she's in the know because she knows.
But she knows
that night is Rune.
Yeah, but he
doesn't know.
He doesn't know who she is at this point. Yes, agreed.
So we're back with Bryce and Hunt, who get back to the apartment at like 3 a.m. and they're drunk. After they left the party, they went to like an after party, so they just had a good night at the end. Hunt admits that despite all the drama, he did like being at the masquerade ball tonight because he liked being seen with her and like everyone to know that, you know, they're together.
Exactly. He's a little possessive.
Yeah.
He's like, I liked it.
He's like, well, we're basically like not married now. And Bryce says, well, I don't see no ring. But Hunt replies, says, if you want a ring, no problem. I'll get you one.
Oh.
They then start getting handsy and they go to the bedroom where Hunt uses his bow tie to tie Bryce's hands to the headboard. And then they have sex. So, a little kinky, just a little. And then at some point during the shenanigans, he uses his lightning to like zap the bow tie off. He like burns it off.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, fuck me hard like the prince that you are. And I'm like, oh my God, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Ma'am?
And it's all lightning and Bryce's glow stick energy. And then they both come. And once they come out of their sex days, they find themselves on the roof of the apartment building. So apparently the orgasm was so good that they teleported. Nice.
Apart from that one line, the prince that you are, I actually quite like this scene. Like, I like the little bow tie thing.
Yeah, I thought that was cute.
Like, it's cute. The line with the prince made me cringe a little bit.
Oh, fuck me hard like the prince you are?
Yeah. Like, I would have done, you know what? The fuck me hard would have been fine.
Yeah.
Fuck me hard. Great.
But the prince part, like, threw you off?
Just kind of like...
I didn't really mind it that much. I'm still going to give the scene, like, a 5.
No, same.
5 spicy
peppers. Listen, when I'm in it, and it's good. And then after, I'm like... It's like post-nut clarity, Like, after you finish reading the scene, you're like, oh my God, like...
Was that cringe?
Why did she say that? I don't understand. But, like, I'm here for
whatever
it.
Gets your,
Whatever gets your rocks off. We're not here to judge, I love the bow tie part. Like, that was great. Anyways, we flip-flop to Hypaxia and Ethan, and we're in the middle of their, like, summoning ceremony. Like, we get tossed into it. So Hypaxia is chanting to summon Connor's spirit, and he's telling Ethan, and she's telling Ethan to be ready when he appears because she may not be able to hold Connor for very long to this, like, plane. But instead of Connor, the Underking shows up and is like, you guys are fools for playing with powers. You don't understand. Ethan is like, I want to talk to my brother. And the Underking says that Connor is well cared for, but may not stay that way. Like, he's basically threatening them. The Underking turns to Hypaxia and tells her the House of Flame and Shadow is curious about her abilities. Then we flip to Bryce. And she's sleeping beside Hunt and she's dreaming. And the Prince of the Pit, Apollyon, has taken her to the dream world version of Parthos. So this is the land that was there, the place that existed before the Asteri came and took over. Bryce is like, great, nice to meet you. I've only ever heard about you. And Apollyon tells her that Adis is going to be angry that they met, which is why he picked this time as Adis is busy raising Hell's armies to invade Midgard. Bryce is like, can you not? Like, it'd be so nice if you guys, like, stayed where you are and, like, left my planet alone. That would be so amazing. And Apollyon commends her for being skeptical because Thea wasn't skeptical, and that was her downfall. And Bryce is like, oh, the Starburn Queen? And Apollyon is like, yes, Adis's great love. So he admits that he, Apollyon, killed Pelias and devoured Sirius, all for his lovesick brother who was enraged over Thea's death, and that Adis's folly lost them this current phase of the war. So we do get confirmation that Adis was in love with Thea, the Starborn Queen. So he's got... that's what I said. He's not just doing it because he's got this, like, great moral compass. He's doing it for personal reasons.
He's out for revenge.
Exactly. He explains that Thea and her Fae forces were allied with Hell against the Asteri. He then tells Bryce that she needs to explore and, like, master her powers, like everyone is fucking telling her. He denies sending the Reapers after her, but Bryce is like, either you or the Underking is lying. Because remember, the Underking said that he didn't send the Reapers, and then now Apollyon is like, I didn't send the Reapers, so, like, who the fuck sent the Reapers?
Sent the Reapers?
Exactly. Apollyon gets pissed, and Bryce is like, why are you telling me all this? And Apollyon tells her that she is racing towards her own doom blindly, and that he has spoken to Hunt before, and that he was Hunt was bred to be receptive to demon kind. And I was like, what the fuck does this mean?
I don't know. Like, I've seen some theories about, like, who people think that, like, Hunt's dad is.
Right.
Like, I've seen the theory that, like, people think Regulus, like, is the dad, or, like,
like, there's the Asteri. And that's why he is kind of like bred to hunt demons, because, like, the Asteri bred him.
Yeah.
Unless he doesn't have a dad. and he was just like created in like a fucking program or
Like
something.
he's like what? Like Athena? He was made of clay or some shit?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like and that was something that like Danica was trying to, I don't know.
I think he's related to that third guy.
That's my typical theory.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
it'll be really interesting. We're so close to CC3.
I know.
I cannot wait.
I know.
Because by the time this episode comes out,
There's like a month, I think.
really?
About a month.
Because this episode that we're recording now, we're recording in November, but it'll come out in December, right?
Yes. So I think it's about a month once this episode
Guys,
comes
this
out.
is so exciting.
Yeah.
I literally cannot wait. I'm just so excited. Apollyon eventually ends up telling her to use the horn in her back, activate it with Hunt's powers, and open the doors to hell. And Bryce is like, I'm not doing that. Apollyon is disappointed and tells her to come find him when she is ready to learn the truth. So many people are saying that. Bastion said that. He said that. Everyone's like, when you're ready for the truth, come find me.
You know what? Even if you're not ready for the truth, I would just be so interested to know everyone's version of the truth.
Same here.
So I would be like, okay, go ahead, tell me right now.
I'd be like, you know what, guys?
My ears are open. I'm receptive to your feedback. Go ahead.
I literally would have been like, guys,
Throw it at
can we
me.
call a meeting maybe?
Yeah,
can
just
we get everyone on Zoom?
Let's compare notes. Okay, so you said this, he said that.
Okay, so Apollyon, Underking, Adis, me.
Like, let's just get some opinions. Let's
I
some
need
different
some
perspectives,
yeah.
and then make an opinion.
And then make an informed decision.
Yeah, make a choice.
Make a choice.
But none
After
of
you
this,
know.
like,
Come find me.
Yeah, I want to
off.
know.
I want to know too. I agree. So yeah, the dream ends. Back with Ethan and Hypaxia, the Underking has vanished, but he left like a spell. Like, I don't really, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I like skimmed this part because it was like an adventure part, and like I didn't really care.
Any kind of like problem.
Like skim.
Yeah.
But what I gathered was, I guess there's like some sort of like wards or like some sort of spell labyrinth.
Yeah, they have to try to get out of.
Okay, yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so I got that right. So yeah, there's like some sort of spell ward labyrinth around them, and Hypaxia is trying to like lead them out of it, but they get ambushed by the hunting hounds of the House of Flame and Shadow.
So now we're with the rest of the gang at the Ox Training Center, and Bryce is practicing her powers. Hunt will like supercharge her with lightning, and then she'll start teleporting all over the room to see how long like she can do it for.
Yeah, because I guess the idea is like, I don't think that she can do this infinitely.
No, she has like an energy reserve, and like once her battery runs low, like
she's got to recharge.
Yeah. But while she's doing it, she's being like cheeky, and she's teleporting in front of people to scare them. Or like she'll teleport behind like Hunt and like pinch his ass and like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't work on Therion, who like manages to catch her when she teleports in front of him, and he like kisses her on the lips.
Did
And,
I
like,
get mad?
No, they were all laughing it off, and I was like, well, which I thought was weird. I'm like, wouldn't Hun be kind of pissed?
Yeah,
Like
but
his mates.
I feel like, you know, it's, you know who he kind of reminds me of? He kind of reminds me of Helion, where he's just like the flirty hot guy. And
Yeah,
like
maybe
no one really kind of like, you know what I mean? Like Helion's always complimenting like Nesta and Feyre and this, that, and more. And no one really
he's always like, let's have a threesome.
yeah. And
I guess
no
that's
one
true.
really takes him seriously. So that's kind of Therion for me. Like, you know, he pecks Bryce on the lips and everyone's like, ha 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 ha. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he cares
That's true.
too much.
But anyways, they're all talking about like how they theorize like how Bryce's powers work. And the running theory is that Bryce's magic, beyond her light ability, needs to be powered up by any form of energy it can get. And she can't store the power indefinitely. It like peters out after a while.
Mm-hmm.
Hunt's power is able to draw from Bryce like she did from the gate. And like when Bryce was fighting those demons, Hypaxia had aimed for like Bryce's star scar to charge Bryce's power. So that's clearly where they have to aim.
That's like her charging port.
Yes.
That's like her USB.
Exactly. But they do wonder what would happen if she was struck with power on the horn, like on her back. But no one wants to try that and find out.
Yeah, everyone's like, you know what? Maybe we'll just stick with the USB
Yes.
port in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bryce is shocked that Cormac is even there to help her train, considering how pissed off he was that she ended their engagement in front of everyone without giving him like a heads up.
That's true. She didn't really tell him.
No.
I feel like she probably should have.
Yeah. Cormac
save it
confirms that the only reason that he is even there to help her is because he's under the impression that if he doesn't show up, then Rune would stop contacting Daybright.
Which jokes on him.
I don't think
He's
that's the case.
Never gonna stop
He'd
contacting.
Be like, you know what? Like, no, I would still
be like, no, I'm like literally in love with her.
Cormac says that he's willing to move past this if she promises no more surprises, and she lies to him saying that she's got nothing to hide, but Cormac senses that something's up and starts pressing Bryce on it when she denies it. And when she denies it, he literally like teleports behind her and puts like a knife to her throat.
This was aggressive.
To threaten her. He's like, you better fucking tell me or I'm gonna kill you.
This is so aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, sir?
And everyone's like on edge and like Hun's about to like murder something.
Hun's about to like rip someone's head off.
But in an attempt to prevent a full-on fight with everyone there, Bryce just tells Cormac about Emil, but gives him like a revised version of the story. So she says that she found Emil, and she found out that he was at the Viper's warehouse. But by the time she got there, Emil was already gone.
Right. So she gives him like a really fake version of events, kind of.
She lies, saying that the Viper put him into the care of people who will look after him, but that the Viper wouldn't tell Bryce who. So like she's saying, well, you know, I don't know where he is anymore. Like,
but it seems like
I knew he was there, but he's not there anymore.
Right.
But Cormac doesn't understand why the Viper Queen would try to find Emil. But Bryce explains that the Viper likes to collect powerful beings.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how would he not know? Like, literally everyone's fucking trying to get this kid because apparently he's so powerful.
But then Cormac is like, well, if Emil is so powerful, then why would the Viper Queen let him go? And this is when Bryce admits that it's because Emil has no powers. Cormac is still adamant on finding Emil, but Bryce convinces him to let it go because the kid is safe and that's all that matters. Cormac then apologizes about the knife stunt and they go back to training.
Sorry I held a knife to your throat. Let's be friends
you know
again.
what? Never mind. Let's pretend that happened.
Yeah.
Ethan and Hypaxia then run into the center, telling everyone about their encounter with the Underking, who told them that the Underking basically wants to see them at Urd's temple, and if they don't show within the hour, the Underking will throw Connor and the rest of the pack of devils through the gate immediately and turn them into second light.
This is literally so dramatic.
Yeah.
Just
give her the bone.
Oh my goodness, she just wants the bone. Okay. So, Therion, who left the Ox Training Center before Ethan and Hypaxia had shown up, is now in the meat market trying to look like super casual and trying to keep up the ruse that he is, you know, looking for Emil. He's like, I need to keep up appearances, kind of. As he's eavesdropping, Therion hears someone mention a dragon. Like, he's like, I don't know, says something about like a dragon fighting, and he's like, oh, isn't that interesting? And he decides that a dragon would be the perfect thing to offer the River Queen in lieu of Emil if it came down to it. Therion ends up calling Flynn and asks him to meet so they can go and get the dragon shifter from the Viper Queen, because apparently everyone ends up at the fucking Viper Queen.
Everyone just loves the favors from Viper Queen.
Exactly. So they travel into the den of the Viper Queen and find Ariadne lounging on a couch, and turns out she like willingly went to the queen. Like, she wasn't coerced, she wasn't anything like that. And she asked the queen for asylum in exchange for fighting in her pit. So the queen would protect her and Ariadne would fight in the fighting pits for her. Therion asks the Viper Queen to speak privately, and she agrees, and they go to this like private room at the other end of the hall, and Therion ends up seeing the Harpy buying drugs off of one of the Viper Queen's people. So weird. Like, they're all like drugged up and stuff. That's not great. Therion ends up asking the Viper Queen what she knows about Ophion or Pippa, and she tells him information isn't free. She wants him to tell everyone that Ariadne fighting in the pits is a matter of imperial security and spin whatever bullshit he needs to make people believe it. He agrees as long as Ariadne is okay with it, which apparently she is. He asks her again what Pippa's up to, and she says, call your friends and find out. And then she leaves, and I was like, what the absolute fuck is going on?
I don't know.
So now Therion is like really nervous. So He calls Hypaxia, he calls Hunt, Bryce, Ethan, and Rune. No one is picking up the phone. No one's answering. Therion goes back to Flynn, and he tells Flynn to dial Rune. Doesn't pick up. And then he's like, do you know where everyone is? The Viper Queen wishes them luck, but before they leave, Flynn tells Ariadne he isn't done with her, and he's coming back for her. They're obviously going to, like, get together, right?
Who, the dragon and Therion?
Ariadne. No, Flynn and Ariadne.
Oh, Flynn and Ariadne. Oh,
Yeah.
you're talking about Therion. I don't know.
Like,
Whenever I see like characters who aren't with someone, I'm always trying to figure out like who are they gonna be with.
I know, because especially like Sarah J. Maas, like, let's be honest, she does pair a lot of the people up.
Yeah, like, but technically, who do you think Therion's gonna end up with? Like, who's his love interest? Like, is there one?
Well, I have theories, but maybe we'll
Save that for later.
Yeah, maybe we'll save it because it's a little, maybe a little spoilery, you know? Okay. So now we're with Bryce, Hunt, Rune, and Hypaxia, and they're at Erd's temple because apparently they were the only 4 that the Underking wanted to go there. So like Ethan and I think like Declan had to stay back or something like that. Everything is like eerily quiet, and I'm pretty sure, like, again, kind of skim this part because it was a lot of descriptions of like scenes and like places, but I'm pretty sure that the temple is kind of like, it's in the middle of the city. Like, it's not like off some like tiny island like on its own. Like,
I don't think it's in the middle of the city. Wait one sec, I can tell you right now.
Hold on, we're gonna find out where Erd's temple is.
This part is actually on the map.
Oh, fun.
Okay, wait, I have seen it before. Swear to God. Oh yeah, okay, so it's kind of on the edge of the city. Look, it's right there.
Okay, but still not like, you know, in the middle of nowhere. Like, it's in
by like the Mortal Gate, if anything.
Okay, so it's in the city. So yeah, that's why they're like, why is everything eerily quiet? Like, where the fuck is everyone? This is so odd. So when they get to the temple, they find the Underking sitting on the throne, and he tells them that the Reapers were actually sent by the Eternal City, and that means like,
what does that mean?
You know what?
What does that mean?
Now that we're talking about
the Eternal
it,
City?
Because I was like, oh, does that mean the Asteri sent them? But then I'm like, wait, don't the archangels also live in the Eternal City?
Wait, yes, the Eternal City is where the Asteri live.
Yeah, so the Asteri sent the Reapers, basically.
Oh, okay, you know what? Now this makes sense.
Does this make more sense?
Yes,
okay,
because when I read the Eternal City for a second, see, when I read that, for whatever reason, I still think like the afterlife when I hear Eternal City.
Yeah, that's fair, because that's like I feel like that's a common name for like.
But then they don't really have an afterlife because apparently you get turned to second life.
You
so
get
I was so
anyways.
confused by this.
Yeah,
but
fair.
I think you're right. I think the Eternal City is where the Asteri live. Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
He also commends Hypaxia for making her way out of the spell labyrinth, and Hunt is like, why the fuck did you call us here? Like, surely not to play nice. Like, now you're confessing all these things. Like, this can't be the reason why, like, we were called here by you. Bryce blurts out the numbers and letters from Sophie's arm and asks the Underking if he knows what they mean. He says he doesn't, but the gang should ask them. And then when they turn around, they find Pippa and her Lightfall soldiers. Because remember, at this point, they're considered enemies now of the rebels. Like, they've gone rogue, according to the rebels. Apparently, the first thing Peppa did when she got into Crescent City, or like Lunathion, was kneel before the Underking. Which is like fucking crazy, but obviously the Underking really like that. So ultimately, whatever conflict happens, it results in more souls and second light for him to feed on. So he was fine with this outcome. The Underking leaves, he like vanishes, and he leaves them to deal with Pippa and like, you know, her Lightfall squadron, and they're like just outside this like set of doors, I think, because they're in like the throne room with the doors closed, so Pippa's like right outside the doors. Bryce gets charged up by Hunt, because, you know, they're trying to like figure out what to do. So she gets charged up by Hunt, and she teleports out intending to contact reinforcements. When she comes back, she vanishes with Hypaxia. Now Rune and Hunt are alone, and they argue about who should leave next, each wanting like the other to go first kind of thing. And when Bryce comes back, she ends up taking Rune and vanishing, because I guess like at the end of the day, she needs Hunt to like charge her up with power.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't think he can really like leave first. Before she can return for Hunt, Pippa and her squad break down the doors. But then Pollux, Mordok, the Hind, etc., like the whole like other cast of characters, the Dreadwolves, they all come and join in the fight, and they're scrapping with the rebels because they don't know at this point that Hunt, Bryce, and them are there. So they just think that The rebels are there. Bryce comes back and she doesn't think she can take another charge from Hunt. Like her body can't take it anymore. She tells him that she used the gates to broadcast a message that the rebels were sacking Urd's temple. But apparently when she broadcast the message, she like recorded her voice and then hid it using like a warping app. So she wouldn't be like a voice warping app. And I'm like, how the fuck did she have time to do all this?
I know, because even when you read the chapter, it seems like it's all happening so fast. Like, I'm like, how did you have time to just pull up an app on your phone?
So like literally she like popped out of existence. She pulled out her phone. She went on the app store. She said voice altering app, right?
She recorded the message.
The rebels are sacking Urd, blah blah blah. Okay, upload into the app. Okay, listen back to it. Okay, yep, that sounds thin enough. Let me just like plug it into the
yeah,
that's a lot of time. That is literally so much time.
Doesn't seem like that much time passed.
But apparently that's what she did, so that's why everyone showed up. They're trying to figure out a way to escape the temple unseen, and Bryce is like really weak at this point. She's like bleeding from her nose. It's not great. And then all of a sudden from behind the throne, they see Bastion in his dog form, and he's like motioning them over with like a paw, I guess. I don't know. Like he's just like...
He's like, come this way.
Come this way. And when they get there, they find a hidden doorway, which they walk through with Bastion. Bastion explains how he heard the broadcast, researched the temple, found the hidden door. And then I'm like, he also had time to do this?
I don't know.
Like, you're telling me he's like, oh, Urd's temple is getting sacked. That sounds really suspicious. I wonder who's there. Let me just Google Urd's fucking, like, floor plan and see.
And why would that be information that's like commonly?
I don't know.
On the
maybe he found like a Reddit post.
Well, like
secret doors in Urd's
like
temple.
a secret tunnel. You think is not going to be on the floor plan? Like it's not going to be.
Tunnel.
I was about to sing that. Like it's not. It shouldn't be that easy to find.
But apparently it was, and he was able to do so in a timely manner and reach them. So, right, they find the hidden door. They walk through. He's telling them how it happened, and then Bryce is like, "What the fuck is up with this guy? This is so suspicious." So she turns out of Hunt's arms, grabs a rifle, and aims it at Bastion. And she's like, why the fuck do you keep popping up? Are you spying for someone? Blah, 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 blah. And in explanation, Bastion says this: through love, all is possible. Bryce is like, what? And then Bastion like pulls down his shirt, and over his heart, there's a tattoo that says, through love, all is possible, in Danica's fucking handwriting. Bryce is like, why do you have her handwriting tattooed on you? And poor fucking Bastion says, because Danica was my mate.
You know, this is, again, one of those things that I did not see coming.
There's so much fucking going on in this novel. Like, so many people with this person, and then these people are sleeping together, and then this person's your maid, and this person's not your maid, but this wedding is arranged. Like,
you know what? I think I've realized that when I read like fantasy novels, like you said, there's just so much going on that I can like barely keep up. So like even when I'm reading it, I'm not really paying attention to any of the clues. Like, I'm half paying attention. So like when there's all these like little clues dropped throughout that like should point to something, I'm clearly not picking it up.
I am not picking up what they're putting down.
Because then when something surprising happens, and it really shouldn't be that surprising because there's tons of hints in the novel, it's surprising to me because I'm like, where'd the fuck that's left field? Where did that come from?
See, this is when my first read through, this was shocking to me. Celestina and Hypaxia was shocking to me. Agent Daybright was not surprising to me.
That wasn't.
Bryce with the Viper Queen and Emil,
that was the bigger shock to me.
Was surprising to me. So there were certain things that I was like, what the fuck? But I don't know, were there enough hints with this like whole Bastion Danica thing? I mean, we're going to talk about it more as like the episodes go on, obviously, but
I don't know if there was hints, and again, like I just said, like there could have been, and I just didn't pay attention to it. I mean, I guess Bastion has, the only hints really that there have been is that Bastion has been everywhere.
He's been involved in their shit.
He's been like hiding, like just popping up out of nowhere.
But then why not fucking say something? All those times when he was like, when you're ready for the truth, come find. Like, why not just sit down and be like, hey everyone.
I don't know. Maybe because he thought like no one would believe him. Like, I don't know.
I mean, a tattoo across your heart in Danica's handwriting is pretty like,
that's some pretty damning evidence.
That's a pretty big vouch.
Yeah, I don't know.
He doesn't have some sexy text messages from Danica. Like, there's no, like, you're telling me he couldn't have come in and been like, okay, everyone sit down. Listen, I know you don't trust me, and I know I was a shitty guy back in the day, but I'm really sorry for that. And turns out I'm actually your best friend's mate, and she died, and I'm absolutely devastated. Oh, you don't believe me? Well, here's a tattoo in her handwriting right across my heart using a phrase that she loved to say. Also, here's some text messages from us. Also, here's a picture of us on our 2nd anniversary. Like,
I don't know what to tell you. But again, this was one of those things that like, shocked me. I was
shocked.
Like, wait a second.
I was like, what the absolute fuck is going on? Like, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I love this. And I felt immediately, I feel awful for him.
Well, yeah, he like barely had any time with her.
And she died.
Yes.
Like dead.
Dead.
Not like not dead. Like dead.
Like very dead.
Like very dead. Like not
very,
coming
very
back
yeah.
dead. But that's where we leave you.
Yeah. So enjoy that.
So enjoy that revelation.
That little cliffhanger that we leave you on.
That's it. Thoughts? Still confused.
I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't even know where this is going anymore.
Like, we're at chapter 64 now. So how many chapters do we have left technically?
I think another 10-ish chapters.
Yes, because I think it only goes up to chapters like 71. So we literally have 2 more Crescent City episodes after this. So really, this is like the 11th hour.
Yeah, so it's coming to an end, this book.
And you do wrap some stuff up. Not as much stuff.
You wrap some stuff up, but there's still a lot. Actually,
a lot.
You know what? You don't wrap anything up. What are you talking about? You wrap one thing up.
Like one thing.
The only thing you wrap up is like a meal, which I don't think is the last to be said about him.
There's no way that's even like fucking wrapped up.
That's my point. So like there's just new things being added.
Yeah.
New bombs dropped.
Yeah.
And still lots of problems.
I will say though, these next couple episodes are good.
I think there's literally like only 100 pages left of the book at this point.
It's so exciting.
Because we only have 2 more episodes on Crescent City, the book. And then after that, we have You're Gonna Explain Throne of Glass to Me. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to do like a
series episode.
A series episodes for what we expect to see in Crescent City 3. And then Crescent City 3 comes out.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm literally so excited. I cannot wait. But yeah, if you need anything, the episode description is down below, no matter where you're watching or listening, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, doesn't really matter. Please consider like leaving a review or sharing or writing us a message or liking our video or anything like that. It all helps out, and we really do like interacting with you guys.
Yes, and stay tuned for our episode next week where we finish our discussion on Iron Flame.
Oh my god, yes. Also very exciting.
Yes. Yeah. So thanks for listening to Two Book Bitches.
Bye.